That's how the ball rolls. That's how the cookie crumbles. Uh, I don't know what I'm going to do today. It's hot. I don't know if I want to sit in the van or not. Goodness. I was late getting here today, man. I was so embarrassed. Yes, okay, I was late. I was about 20 minutes late after they opened. But it was so busy in there. People were everywhere. Seen people that I knew. I talked to a few people. And then one of my friends came up to me, an older lady, and she said, your shirt is buttoned wrong. And I looked down, and it's like the bottom of my shirt, one side was here and one side was like way here. I mean, it was like 2 buttons off. I looked ridiculous. No one said anything except her. She came up to me and she was about to touch my shirt, and then she said, somebody would be telling my husband I was in here touching another man. Oh my gosh. But she said, your shirt is buttoned wrong. So I had to go into the corner of the store and act like I was looking at something where there was no one. And I started at the bottom and I started adjusting them. It wasn't that easy, like unbutton them all at once would have been easier, but I started at the bottom and I worked my way up. And so I got it fixed. But I was so embarrassed. I was embarrassed after that because I know if people saw me, they'd be like, oh, he fixed his shirt. Oh my gosh. Talking about someone who hadn't had coffee yet. Phew, like I almost didn't come today. But I repaired one of the 2 necklaces for a lady that works here, that volunteers here. And I wanted to bring her that necklace. So she didn't think I was selling them on eBay or something. Like, yeah, you're going to get them back, I promise. But, yeah, because, I got all that jewelry. I got the equivalent of like 3 of those big Rubbermaid plastic huge tubs full of jewelry. There were like way over 1,000 pieces. It was insane. It took me forever to go through it, and I didn't do it with a fine-tooth comb. I just kind of like went through and took out certain brands and things like that and kind of separated them into, I want to list these first, and this is the next stage. So I have plenty of jewelry to sell on eBay, suffice it to say. But anyway, I don't know what I'm going to do today. It's so hot. There's a fire truck. Hello, fire truck. My kids, well, especially my oldest one, he used to watch. We had an old VHS tape, and it was called Lots and Lots of Fire Trucks, I think. Something like that. It was like, lots and lots of fire trucks. And then it just showed fire trucks going all around and driving all around with their lights spinning and flashing, and he loved that. My youngest son watched it too, but he wasn't as interested in it as my oldest son. I remember going around. See, that makes me think of other things, but we used to go around and sit like a block away, but you could see the fire station, and we would sit there and just watch the activities. And a couple times the alarm went off, and we saw the fire trucks come out of the station, and of course that excited him greatly, immensely. And then there was a time around the same time period he was interested in trains. Both of them were. They both loved trains. And the train thing kind of like went over, like they both enjoyed trains at the same time. And in Asheville, North Carolina, there was a McDonald's that we could sit at, and we knew around 2 to 3 o'clock p.m. a train would come by just about every day. So we would go and maybe get something to eat and sit there and watch the train go by, and then we'd get in the van and we'd take off, and we'd get ahead of the train, and we would pull off, and a few minutes later, here comes the train again, and we kept like getting ahead of it and following the train by going ahead of it because we knew where it was going to go. So, man, those were some good times. Good times. And I miss those times, you know? But that was cool. Yeah. It was, we used to, I think, have an Amtrak, I think, in Asheville. I'm not 100% sure. But I know at one time they were thinking about upgrading at least to get Amtrak, but I don't know if they ever will. I think the United States kind of like dropped the ball on that because other countries have really elaborate train systems, and people ride them, get on them, and go to work, and things are transported. I mean, one long train, 150 cars. Think of how many tractor trailer semis that would get off the road, the highways, by transporting it on the tracks. If you have 100 of those kind of trains, you're talking thousands of tractor trailers off the road. But they just like everywhere, they just torn the tracks up here in America. I mean, that's just me personally. I think we dropped the ball. I think we should have a good rail system. I think it would save on energy, which some people are always harping about. I think it would do that. It would get tractor trailers off the road. Yeah. I mean, I think just about every small town used to have a train track running through it. I know where I live now used to, and where I was born and raised at. I used to lay in bed at night. Around 10 o'clock, you'd hear it. You'd hear the train going through. That sound of them going over the railroad ties. There was something about it. It was like, that was the basic sound that you could hear, other than the roar of the train. But there was that rhythmic. So, yeah, I like that. That was old Americana. I like that. I don't like the fact they've torn up a lot of the tracks. So, anyway, where do I need to go? Where do I want to go? I don't need to go anywhere. Where I want to go? I want to go someplace cool. Yeah, maybe I'll just go to the bakery today. I always say I'm going to the bakery, and then I end up never going to the bakery. Maybe I won't go to the bakery. Parking's bad. They've taken away a lot of our parking in our downtown. It's made it really hard, in my opinion. Well, it's not my opinion. I mean, it's a fact. It's made it harder to find a spot, especially during tourist season. And there's some business owners that have complained about it because they've taken the parking away. There's a lot of benches. They put like tables and benches, which, that's fine. But they need umbrellas because it's just too hot to sit out there. When you drive by and you look at them, it's like, why would anybody want to sit out there in 300-degree Fahrenheit, oven-like conditions and bake while they sit there and eat a cookie or whatever, or just sit there and talk? It's just too hot. They need umbrellas at least. Remember, they used to have those metal umbrellas that were permanent. They would just sit on a table and they were metal, and they'd cover the table. That would be cool. That way, they're probably not going to blow away. Anyway, I got to get going. I just got a message out. I don't know if you could hear that. Somebody messaged me. See you in a bit. So I came up with a new rule as I was driving toward downtown. I said, my new rule would be I would drive around the block, and if there's a space for me to park, I'll park and I will go in. And if there's not, I'll keep going. No more of this going around twice or 3 times or 100 times trying to find a place. And unfortunately, I found a space. And I say unfortunately because I started warming up to the idea of not really wanting to come here anyway. But then there was a space. So what does that mean? This was meant to be. I don't know. But I went ahead and parked because that's my new rule. And that's if when I leave someplace and I decide I think I'll go to the bakery. Only then. It's like anytime I drive downtown, I'm not obligated to pull into a parking spot. But I guess I'll go in now that I'm here. I get in this mood a lot where I don't really want to do anything as far as, I'll think of 5 or 6 different things and I'll nix the idea like, no, I don't want to do that. Oh, maybe I'll do this. No, I don't really want to do that either. Okay, well, I could do this and nah. And then I end up somewhere just like McDonald's or something because it's air conditioned, it's cheap, it's spacious, easy parking, etc. Plus, somebody may knock off your mirrors here too. A lot of people put their mirrors in, they flatten them to the car, they push them in, but mine, this is a 95, so it doesn't have that advanced technology. If I push mine in, it'll just break it off. And this guy here is like, I think he's going to take me out. Hope not. He kind of looks like he knows how to park. I don't know. I haven't gotten out to see where I am, at the line. I think I have like 3 foot though behind me. So I think I'm in this. They're big spaces. So I think I'm fine. He got in pretty well. Let me put the mirror down so I can see him if he bumps me or something. No, he's good. Now I gotta decide to do I really, 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 really want to go in. I'm still sitting in the hot van. What does that say? I may as well go in, I guess. Yep, so I went to McDonald's. My end philosophy was it's more laid back, it's cheaper. The iced coffee there, I get a large for $2, so it'd be $6 anywhere else, $5, $6. And it's just as good. I mean, some coffee snobs might, want to see a certain name on the side of their cup or whatever, but I could care less about that. McDonald's has good iced coffee. You can adjust the sweetness and the flavor right there at the kiosk. And I sat there. It was very laid back. I looked at, some YouTube videos. I just enjoyed it. So, yeah, I know. I was even parked. Found a parking spot, but I couldn't pull the trigger. So I'm at a thrift shop now, so I'm gonna go in here and kind of a quick run through here, see what I can find, if anything. Then I gotta go home. Whatever. See you later. Okay, see you in a bit.